On to you crabs out here. Hopefully y'all are having a great day. All right, so hold on a second. So for you crabs, you have the 10 of cups, the 3 of swords, and then you have the 6 of pentacles. So for you crabs, right, this is more so a situation for you where a lot of you crabs very much so are content with not being with a particular person because you realize that all this person want is control over you anyway, right? And they'll use anything in order to have control over you. They'll use money, they'll use friendship, they'll act like they really do have your best interest in mind when they really don't. They have your best interest in mind only in the sense that they're warped, right? So they think that your best interest is what they want, even though that's not necessarily even really the case. And why that's really true in the first place is because this 10 of cups, you're okay with not being around them in the first place. You are okay with that. You're not with them now, right? With this obsessive person right now. But this person is essentially totally obsessed. And they want to actually be with you, but they are obsessed themselves with control. Controlling other people, controlling you, crabs, control. That's their middle name. And for some reason around you, that type of stuff acts up. Now, why that stuff acts up is because they're mad and insecure around you, for whatever reason. But they're very insecure around you. And so the judgment represents they can't have you, crabs, thinking for yourselves, doing what you want to do, right? Which crabs are going to do anyway. So as a result, they have to break you down. And this is where the control comes from because they're really insecure around you. Now, you may be asking yourselves, who? Well, somebody that you're trying to get to know who is insecure. And you see this about them. And this is the reason why it is that you'd stop talking to them. Because you probably haven't even known this person, more than likely, you haven't even known this person for a very long time. You just probably started to speak to this person, a brand new face, and then you find out just how intimidated this person actually is, right? If a person, is insecure around you, it's intimidation. If the person, there's a lot of dysfunctionality on both sides. I can't go too deep into it here, but there's a lot of dysfunctionality on both sides, right? Or regardless of whatever you into. And you see the dysfunction though. You dig what I'm saying? And one side tries to act like they're more pious than the other side, but there's a lot of dysfunction on both sides. And then you have the Justice card. And what this card right here represents is that luckily you can see it before it happens, right? Before the situation gets worse, before you crabs are really in a relationship with the person 1-2 years, and then they start using these type of games on you, this mind games on you, and then the next thing you know, you so locked in. Because see what happens, part of why it is a lot of people don't get themselves out of messed up relationships in the first place as well, is because they've become so accustomed. It's a form of an obsession. They're so accustomed to seeing this person in their life from repetition. They get obsessed with that person, regardless of, they get addicted to them, regardless of if that person is good for them or not. And so what happens is that they would rather be in a dysfunctional relationship than to be in a functional one, right? And then you have some people who choose to be in dysfunctional relationships, but then they're disingenuous, and then they bring their goofy, disingenuous selves up on the internet, and then they complain and they cry. That's why it is I don't have any compassion for people who legitimately don't have their story straight, and they don't really have their ducks in a row in that sense of why they're dating. But then they bring themselves to the internet and then they complain about why things don't work out for them. Things don't work out for them because of the fact that they're disingenuous throughout the whole thing. They knew that if they were going to get themselves into a relationship, that they should get into it with a decent person. They're not looking for decency. They're looking for swag. They're looking for, and what they think swag is exactly, I don't know. But a lot of you crabs just were able to see it for what it is. And you're just thankful that you got out long before it would have turned into something even more worse. I know somebody right now who was engaged to somebody who, as soon as they started living together, things started happening. Like the first 3 months was cool. And then they must have been living with each other for about a year. And the first 3 months out of that 12 months was cool. And then the next 9 months was wild after that, because things just started to get worse. You know what I'm saying? And that's the point that I'm trying to make. Like, people do put on masks out here, right? So the 2 of Cups and the 6 of Cups represents how, this person isn't necessarily quite done with you crabs just yet, right? They have this mentality where they believe that they are entitled to have you crabs around them, and only up until they're finished with you is when you crabs have the privilege, not the right, if you catch my drift, to leave. The audacity that they have, the sense of entitlement that they have, because you crabs have a right, not just a privilege, but you have the right to hang out with whomever it is that you choose to hang out with, or lack thereof. And see, the thing is that the 5 of Wands represents, so now for you crabs, they have the struggle. And the struggle in general between yourself and them right now, crabs, I'm sure you'll let me know in the comment section if I'm lying, you want to leave, but this person doesn't want to let you leave. No, it's not about not let you leave. It's about, let me get this right. You want to leave, but this person doesn't want to respect the fact that you're leaving, right? Because you're adults. Y'all are going to do whatever y'all want to do. But the thing is that the King of Pentacles and the Hierophant, again, is about how it ultimately is not really going to do them any favors by trying to keep you in a scenario where you crabs don't want to leave. They have to accept that for what that is, and that you crabs legitimately do want to leave. They have to accept the fact that you want to leave. And the mere fact that they're not accepting it is part of the problem. Let's clarify the King of Pentacles. The 10 of Wands, Knight of Swords, Page of Swords, the Devil card, and then the Wheel of Fortune. Capricorns and the crabs show up. I'm getting all kind of notifications to clarify the King of Pentacles. And that's my point, though, right? You crabs don't want to have anything to do with them. And you emotionally have walked away. But here they are still contacting you, trying to convince you to come back. And can you crabs even imagine what it would be like if a significant amount of time or a considerable amount of time would have passed by without you seeing it, and then now you want to get out? Can you imagine how possessive and how obsessed this person, on either side, this person would have been You dig what I'm saying? Regardless of what you into. Can you imagine how wild things would have gotten? And I know this, and I know that a lot of you crabs are going through this. Maybe not, obviously not all of you, but a good amount of you are going through this because of the fact that the same person that I'm talking about that was moved in, she's a crab. She's a crab. Me and her are cool, thankfully. Uh, but she went through a lot of the same stuff that uh, I'm talking about right here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm seeing it for you. I'm seeing the same thing for you, where you crabs over here, right? The specific ones who I'm talking to, who this applies to, right? You're, like I said, you're dating. You're meeting a lot of people. You're not necessarily having romantic fun with all of them, but you're meeting a lot of people because you're trying to see who's a good match for you, who has a similar value system to you. And then what you having is, you crabs are having a lot of fakers out here, a lot of people who are faking it. And the thing is that the devil card and the Wheel of Fortune represents, it just seems like you just know how to pick all the terrible ones. But I'm gonna tell you crabs like this, that's not what it is. What it is that they're trying to make it seem like you picked them, when in actuality the two of you picked each other. And what I mean by that is, and I'm not moving a goalpost using technicalities. What I'm trying to say is that you didn't know who this person was, because you didn't know that this person has dependency issues, right? If you would have known that, then you probably wouldn't have hung out with this person in the first place. Or you may have, but you may have wanted to know how severe the dependency issues would have been before you would have made that decision. But see, you crabs was also trying to take it slow as well. That's part of the reason why it is that you're getting to know different people, because you're not trying to run a body count up. You're legitimately trying to find a person. You're legitimately trying to find a person who is in a very good space where they can actually be in a relationship with you. And that's another thing too. Like, no, that's for another day. But the point that I'm trying to make here with that is that I was about to talk about something, but that's for a whole other day when it's right time to talk about that, because I've been meaning to talk about that. And so the thing about it is that for you crabs don't want to have to deal with someone who is dependent and obsessive and off their rocker. And it's like, you know what I mean? You spend a considerable amount of time, the person can't let you go. You know what I mean? They sneaking through your window, because I've heard that before. I've heard that from plenty of people before, how it is that an ex, a person who they wanted nothing with, they can't even have a window open to get some fresh air, fam, because the person is gonna shimmy up through their window and stuff like this and all this other stuff, and effectively break into their house, basically sneak into their house on some cat burglar type stuff. Like, and see the thing is that, and see the thing is that you don't want to have to deal with that. You know, you crabs, you know, y'all come from the kitchen, y'all go into the living room, and then you see your ex in the living room, and then you're trying to figure out, how did the ex get in here? All the doors are locked. How did the ex get in here? And the ex got in there from the window, and you're like, you came through my window, Goofy? On either side, because I've heard both sides. I've heard both sides sneaking in through the window, fam. So this is not particular to one side. I've heard of both sides, regardless of what you into, snuck into a person's house, snuck in through the window, fam. Check to see if the back door, if they living in a house or whatever, is open, and walk through the back door. Nah, man, that's a dub, fam. So a lot of you crabs are just happy at the fact that you didn't have to spend this amount of time hanging out with them in the first place. And then let's clarify the Six of Cups. Queen of Swords, the Magician, the Seven of Cups, Five of Swords, excuse me, and the Moon. A lot of crab energy because you made the right decision. That's why. The Queen of Swords, the Magician, and the Seven of Cups, you still are going to date other people. You have options. Remember, this was about you getting to know multiple people so you don't have to do what this person would have had you do. You're only speaking to them, and then it's like you feel like it's a waste of time because this person turned out to be a psycho, you know what I'm saying? And then like the next thing you know, you have to essentially get to know a person, but then, you get to know a person and then you find out that they're weird. And then now they don't want to let you go, right? But then you've only been talking to them. And see, the thing is that the Magician and the Seven of Cups, you understand that you have options, like I said. The Five of Swords and the Moon card, they can't mask the fact that they get attached to people very quickly because we're living in a world where people are so conceited, but it's like they don't know how to actually prolong that. They don't know how to be calm about that. So what they have to do is that they want their psychic full, right? Like when you're eating, they want their psychic full. They want to stuff their spiritual bellies with attention, right? But they don't seem to understand that that's not how you do it. They have to prolong that. Right? It's called a relationship. That's what a relationship is. A relationship is a prolonged getting to know the person as well as getting to know themselves and benefiting each other, right? Mutually. This is why I keep talking about the 50-50 thing, because I've never seen a relationship work out that wasn't 50-50, because someone gets cheated and the other person is egregious. The other person has no integrity, so they don't feel any wrong. They don't feel wrong about taking, and that's all they're doing and being useless as far as contributing, right? So I've never seen a non-50 personally, and I've seen a lot of relationships. I've been on the outside of a lot of relationships. I've never seen relationships that are not 50-50 work. I've never even heard of that. And then you'll have people who say things like, okay, but when you hear them talk, when you actually hear them speak, right? When you listen to them actively, and how they explain it, they explain it from the perspective of both sides are just as involved and enthusiastic towards this relationship, and that they've been able to maintain that for 15 years, 10 years. Right? Depending on how old they are and how young they started, 20 years. You feel what I'm saying? Sometimes even more. And how they're able to do that is both sides have to get involved. They both have to roll up their sleeves and get involved and actually get in there. I've never heard or even seen relationships that was like one significant other does the majority of the work, even working out. And they don't even exist, because what a lot of people don't take into consideration, like I said before, is the money element, right? Like, people talk only about the money. They don't talk about, when I say 50-50, right? What 50-50 means, 50-50 does not mean only about money. It's the overall grand picture of the thing. But then but see, at the same time, people who talk about less than 50-50 or not 50-50 or whatever, they can only localize it from an element of money, because to them, their brain is transactional. It's a transactional relationship. So you crabs are definitely on the right track. You're really doing the right thing. It's just that other people are pretty much bugging out because they can't take the fact that they can actually be in a relationship and they're dependent, right? So they have to work on their dependency issues. And a lot of you crabs are seeing what it is that I've been talking about when I say that people will show you how dysfunctional they are the more you strive to get your stuff together. So that's it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. Trying to get to 100K. I have 16,391 subs. Smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, hit the notification bell, set the notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever I drop my videos. And come through and get the reading. I haven't seen any of you crabs come through. I would like for more of you crabs to come through and get a reading from me. I enjoy your company. So yeah, if you'd like to get a reading from me, there's a link in the comment section below called a Linktree link, and it will redirect you to ways in which you can get a personal reading from me. And yeah, come through us so I can definitely keep the channel up too. Appreciate you.